All right, everybody. Welcome back to D Game. Sitting down here with my buddy, Geoff. He's an interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this guy.
Yeah. Well, me. Yeah. I mean, I'm just average, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I ain't fucking nobody.
We've all heard that one before.
You've seen all the fun, but we actually got a pretty serious conversation to have, and people are gonna have to pay attention. Things that he's went through, you guys are gonna learn a lot. And it's not to dog on him. He's actually telling you this because, we don't talk to nobody. We're guys. We don't fucking say nothing. We always think we're a burden. We always fucking have a problem, trying to go to somebody or whatever. So instead, here you are. You're going to hear all this. And if you're young, you're going to go through this one time in your life. I'll guarantee it. If you're like me, which we're not saying that word. And then, you've already been through it a few times. You really, don't give a fuck anymore. You gave up on life. But, so to get started or whatever, obviously you want to, tell us a little bit, about who you are and where you come from. Get a little background we get a little stability going on here. And
yeah, for sure. Well, as you said before, I'm Geoff. Met him a little while ago, actually. Going out to the bars or whatever, and we'd always be sitting over there in the corner, his little corner, and
yeah, I hide in the corner because I'm shy. I'm very, very shy and timid.
Yeah, yes. For sure. This guy's shy and timid. Okay. Anyway, I originally grew up in Mesa, Arizona. Born in Phoenix, born in Mesa. Grew up in Mesa. Had pretty much a typical childhood. Fucking around outside, all that kind of stuff. Doing typical kid shit. And people would think, oh, well, you're pretty young, so didn't you have video games and cell phones and blah blah? No, I didn't get that. My parents couldn't really afford that, and they just didn't want us to do that kind of shit, so I see it as my generation was one of the last generations to have experienced the same stuff that older generations experienced. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but no, so it kind of like me growing up or whatever is, I'm assuming kind of the deal. We didn't have jack, but, you get up in the morning, Saturday, you run down, watch them cartoons, it might be about 9:30. Mom says,
you get your ass outside.
Don't come back until supper.
Get your ass outside. You sitting there, you be outside for hours. You don't even realize you're outside for that long, right? And then you go back inside and I get a drink. Well, now your ass got a drink, so now you gotta go back in and out, and then now your parents are sitting there. Look, we ain't trying to cool out there. We ain't trying to cool the outside. Like,
you know how many times my mother said that?
Yeah, either you in or you out, right?
Yeah.
Beat your ass if you don't stay outside this house. So then next thing you know, now you got a hose, so you're sitting there opening up the hose valve, and they look out. What the fuck are you doing out there? Well, you told me not to come back inside. Unless I wanted to stay inside. Well,
exactly.
It was a lose-lose situation. So I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they would turn on the hose and be like, we pay for that water. Look. But, I went through, for me, when I was younger or whatever, I go out, get outside and go to, as soon as my bike, I was freedom, man. I'd just ride the living hell. I'd be gone for days if I could. But yeah, they'd come looking for me after a week or so. Trust me, most of the time, unless it was dark, they didn't bother looking for me on the weekends. They didn't. They were like, screw him.
Wasn't quite the same for me. Arizona was quite a bit bigger than a lot of people's normal growing up neighborhoods. So we had to be in before the streetlights came on, basically, because I grew up in the ghetto, like not the projects, but damn near the projects. It was the ghetto. I had chop shop right across the street from my house, literally constantly working on vehicles. So it's like cops driving up and down our freaking block 24/7. And even had a raid literally. So I was in a fourplex apartment, and then there was a fourplex apartment to the left of us. So like say this is the front of the apartment, streets that way. So to the left of us was another fourplex apartment. Then to the left of them was a whole apartment complex, like bunch of apartments. You had raids go on over there, literally 15, 20 cop cars with 5 cops per car, vests and shotguns and megaphones and rifles and all kinds of stuff. It was just, I grew up in that kind of neighborhood. So, growing up my whole life, basically, I was supposed to be part of a statistic, obviously I'm a young African American in the U.S.
What? You what? I didn't notice. I guess I didn't realize.
Oh, he's one of them motherfuckers that doesn't see color.
No. Weird.
Anyway, so I was supposed to fall under statistics, most of my life. I had a dad, but he wasn't necessarily around too much. I mean, he was there. He was present in my life, but he wasn't much of a father figure. Not till I got a little bit older enough to understand like D&D type games. But even at that, it'd be, every once in a while on a weekend, I'd hang out with him and his friend and play something like that. But,
oh yeah, since you brought that up, don't forget you guys still got to head to Zach up to the Rabbit's Den, the old D&D, but just letting, anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so,
oh man, I love it.
Yeah. So with that being said, statistics say that somebody of my stature, with that kind of life should have ended up in jail or dead before the age of 20. If not before the age of 20, before the age of 25. So I've always had literally everything to prove, but also everything to lose,
Yep.
And people are like, well, you got to make opportunities happen for you, blah, blah, this and that. I said, yeah, I have to make opportunities happen for me. I said, what you don't realize, being somebody, being me looking from the outside in, is like opportunities are more or less offered or given to other people, of a different stature than myself.
Yeah.
So,
and I understand what you're saying, but you've never quote thought of yourself as the victim. You've always like I have to overcome this,
right?
Which shows a lot in your just the way you are, your personality. When I met you or whatever, I'm like, this guy's somebody. You know what I mean? Because he's got it. Whatever it is, when you meet somebody, they got it. It's like this is the guy I want to be around.
Right.
So it's you were never a victim in it, or had a victim mindset or anything like that. You were always pushing through.
Yeah.
And then even though a few things happened in your life with that you could have, you could have, but you didn't take them that way.
No. With the whole victim mindset thing is like people, even, at 20, 21, 22 years old would be like, why are you so happy all the time? Or, why do you work so hard, like 100% of the time, blah, blah. I'm like, because I literally have everything to prove, I'm supposed to be a statistic. Right now, society and life is going to keep trying to push me down because I shouldn't basically exist, at this point in time in my life. But the way I see it is like, I'm going to do everything I can to make myself successful, and everybody else who doesn't want to join me on that path or join me on that adventure can fuck off,
Yeah, exactly. Because it's It's like I tell everybody on here is, you know, you have to have a purpose in life. As a man, you have to have a purpose, and you got to, you know, whether your purpose is to, you know, make a ton of money or maybe invent something or what your purpose cannot be, I want to find a woman. You know,
Right.
you might have, you know, your purpose might be, you know, that you want to have a family or, you know, that it's like, I want to have children or something. You know, a guy can have that purpose.
Right. That's one.
But
yeah, that's one of my.
Yep.
That's one of my goals. One of my purposes is to have a family. You know, but you know, I guess the main purpose is to be happy and healthy with myself. You know, and all that kind of stuff, and be successful enough to be able to raise a family that I don't have to worry about finances and stuff like that. So,
and you know, there's like I say, you got a lot. Well, you got a lot of things going for you because I gotta say we're gonna tell the locker room story at some point. I'm just letting you know that it's gonna happen.
I was getting to that. So.
No. We just, man, because the thing is, you got to tell it, because if I tell it, I'm gonna embellish the shit out of that. You know, I'm gonna tell it the way I want to tell it.
I know you are,
which is hilarious the way it is. But it's funny just the way it is. But yeah, we'll get into that, you know. But you guys have to stay tuned for this crap. You won't believe some of this shit. Oh,
anyway,
man.
So skip quite a few years there. Get into high school, and freshman year of high school, you know, was going pretty decent. First semester, nothing really happening. You know, high school is high school. Life is life, whatever. Then second semester starts, and my dad, we found out my dad started having miniature strokes. And we only found that out because he was my sister was homesick one time with him, and he was talking to her, saying something, and she noticed that he started slurring his words. So she called my mom, you know, immediately, and my mom was like, "Yeah, you need to, you know, you need to call your grandpa or call 911 or whatever, and get him to the hospital, you know, make sure that everything's okay." So got him to the hospital. They ran their tests, said that he had a bunch of mini strokes, which was sending small blood clots up to his brain, which was causing the slurring of the words. So he stayed in the hospital for a few days, just to be looked at closely or whatever. And then they said he was okay to be released, you know, so they released him, and literally, I don't think it was the same night, but the next night, my mom said she was in a dead sleep and something told her to wake up. And she woke up and went out into the living room to grab a glass of water and check everything was okay. And saw my pops laying there on the ground. Had knocked a bunch of stuff off the coffee table. Basically, he had a stroke, fell down on the ground, and threw up on himself. He had laying in a puddle of his own vomit, you know. And I was in a dead sleep, and my mom just started screaming my name, and I when I heard her scream my name, I've never heard my mom in that much distress at all. It was like an instinct in my brain just kicked in. You know, I didn't have instantly eyes wide open, instantly awake, jumped out the bed. You know, I had a bed that was probably this high off the ground, you know. So I just hurled my ass over the side of it, you know, and ran out there. Well, all the adrenaline and whatnot, didn't realize when I, you know, got up that I did something or whatever. So we got the ambulance and all that stuff there, and they were taking care of him. Well, I go to turn around and go get ready to to go to the hospital or whatever, and my leg started falling asleep because I woke up too fast. And so freaking leg fall asleep. I'm sitting there limping back to the room, and paramedics all stop. Hey, you okay? You okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. My leg's just killing me, dude. Like, it fell asleep. And they're like, oh, okay. So anyway, with that being said, so my dad spent quite a while. He actually had a 5% chance of living after they found out that he had a stroke. So what had happened was he was going through some stuff at work, and they had put him in cop car and handcuffs and all that stuff. Cop car got in a crash. They didn't buckle him up, which, by the way, Mesa PD is ranked like United States #1 worst police department ever. So just to give you an idea of Mesa PD. Anyway, didn't buckle him up. So he was going to the chiropractor and stuff because he had some wrist issues and some back issues and neck issues. We don't know exactly how it happened, but basically something happened, some sort of jerking motion happened, and it caused a dissection of his left vertebral artery, which sent gigantic blood clots to his brain, which caused a major stroke, which caused him to be permanently disabled. So now he kind of walks like a little kid, you know, not full steps and whatnot, can't fully enunciate words the way that he wants to. Like, it all plays, everything in his brain works right. It's just doesn't show on the outside. Anyway.
Well, at that time, you know, like, your dad's still there, but, you know, he's, you know, not the father figure anymore. You know what I mean? And you at that age, as you know,
I basically had to become the man of the house.
Yeah, you at that age. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, it is.
If you don't have that stuff.
It is, you know, and I only had one really good best friend, still my best friend. You know, we have matching tattoos and all that stuff, which sounds a little fruity. I know. I don't even start with this guy.
I don't even want to see it. I can imagine where it's at.
This motherfucker.
Look right up here. Yeah.
Little tramp stamp? No.
Yeah, there you go. See, look, what'd you get? Little butterfly.
No, basically it's like a Celtic knot. It's right there on my arm there, but
you're like, I don't even know what the fuck it is anymore.
It's like a little Celtic knot, like a triangular shaped Celtic knot. It's got it's got mine and two of my other buddies, really good buddies, got our initials in there, and then on the outside it says "Brothers Never Let Go." So it's a very inspirational tattoo.
Yep.
So anyway,
well then, like I say, the rest of your high school was, you know,
it was not normal. It wasn't the typical, you know, and I'm sure there's plenty of other kids who didn't get to do all the partying and stuff like that, but at the same time, like, I had to be constantly serious, you know, just because the way life was. But yeah, so they said that he had a 5% chance of living. Luckily he lived. But then at that point, basically we had to end up taking care of him. He spent a year in rehab, went there almost every week, if not every week, once a month, for the entire year. So seeing your dad in the hospital bed. If he wasn't in the hospital bed, he was in a wheelchair. If he wasn't in a wheelchair, he was doing his rehab training and stuff like that. And then spent the rest of my high school career going to physical therapy. So I went with him sometimes to the physical therapy sessions, watching him having to do that stuff too. It all changes a person, you know, changes somebody at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, you know. So with that being said, you know,
well, you just had to grow up instant.
I had to grow up instantly and still keep my grades and still be able to play football and still try to find a job and all this stuff. And
wait. Black man playing football? Really?
Guy.
I never. Is that a real thing? Oh no, sorry. Oh my, no. I just. I'll just go away.
No, we're talking about American football now. Not European football. This guy.
Football. Goal. Whatever the fuck it is. Like that ain't fucking football.
But football, basically, that kind of saved my life in high school. You know, I had a lot of built up anger and aggression. Growing up as a kid, I had a lot of anger issues. A lot of it stemmed from having two little sisters that would constantly push my buttons and then go and wait till I snapped on them and then go and tell my parents that I hurt them and whatnot, because it was impossible for them to gang up on their older brother.
Well, no, girls are the most manipulative little shits. They fucking you, but you can't do a damn thing.
Right? It only took 10 years for my fucking parents to realize that they were bullshitting that whole fucking time. Because one time when we were closer to high school age, they saw and heard my sisters pushing my buttons to the point to where I snapped on them. Then they ran out crying, trying to tell my parents. They're like, "Oh hell no, not this time. We saw and heard everything." So it's like,
yeah, and like I say, honestly, that's a thing that women never grow out of.
You know,
if you look at it in the future, you know, like say you get a 25-year-old girl where she'll be dating a guy and she'll be pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then she, you know, get even to the part where he gets angry. And then she'll come up and hit him. And then you can't do nothing. And then she walks away and it's the victim. And so, you know, that little thing is definitely, they don't grow out of that. It continues in life because they're never really,
right, but
they're never really checked on it.
It also matures with them,
yep.
You know, over the time too. It's not so childish. Once they get to be older, it's more like ruin this motherfucker's life.
Yeah, they know. They know exactly what they're doing.
So, but anyway, so yeah, they would always do that shit. So finally, I had gained both my parents' trust when I reached high school age and all that stuff. And then,
what position, by the way?
I played every position on the offensive line. I was
I bet you did.
Main position. This motherfucker.
I bet you did.
The main position I played was left tackle, which is a little known fact for people who don't know. In professional football, it's the second highest paid player on the football team.
Really?
First one is the quarterback. So 95% of quarterbacks are right-handed, which leaves their left side the blind spot. So that's where the left tackle comes in. He is the second most important player on the field. He protects the quarterback's blind spot. So, with that being said, they're the second highest paid player on the team, which most people don't really know that because they're like, oh, well, the linemen. Linemen are not important. That's bullshit. You wouldn't have football without linemen. I can guarantee you that because a quarterback would constantly get his shit rocked, okay? So, yeah. And I tell you what, the linemen are the most physical position on the team too. I can attest to that because I experience joint pain now. At the age of 24, I experience joint pain that 48-year-olds should have. You know, so
well, you're as a lineman, you're in contact from the moment the ball snapped.
Yeah,
basically the whole play, every play. The entire game. Yep. And, you know, receivers, they'll run out. They're not in contact until they catch the ball.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? There is a lot of physical.
So they say that the G-force that's created, that initial, when you hear hut and you hear smack, that loud smack, that is the entire offensive line versus the entire defensive line. There's no other person making that smacking noise. So that gigantic smack that everybody hears, even all the way up at the top of the stands, that's the force of 300-pound dudes smacking 300-pound dudes, you know? So you can just imagine the amount of G-force that is created by that, you know, is more than the amount of G-force that's created by flying a fighter jet, you know, in the Air Force. So for your body to be able to take that and handle that is a lot, you know? So obviously we do a lot of training, and I don't think the smaller skilled people, they never really got that, you know? That there was a couple times where they let the skilled people be like defensive ends and stuff because they were faster. But then that's when they really realized like how fast us big dudes actually are. You know?
Yeah, I mean, even you look at you look at you know, an offensive line in the NFL, and they're big guys. I mean, they're all big. They all got a little belly. But they're not. They're probably more physically fit than most
well, the funny
average
thing,
people.
The funny thing is you know, the record for a 40-yard dash used to be 4.4, you know, and that was for a skinny, you know, well-rounded person. Well, getting into college and professional football nowadays, these bigger dudes, 280, 300 pounds, are running a 4.40. You know, you imagine somebody moving that fast at that amount of weight, dude. That's ridiculous. They're 6'5", 330 pounds running a 4.40. That's 4.4 seconds, dude.
And I, like I say, I've heard sometime somewhere that just like the NFL, the quarterbacks will take their line out to eat for dinner like Wednesday or Thursday night, you know, before the game, and you know, buy them everything. But the amount that they eat, because not just because they're big. I mean, dude, you got to figure you're 6'7", 6'8", 3. You eat a lot of food, but not only that, the amount of food they eat just that they burn.
Yeah,
constantly.
Just to keep up that,
just get the calories.
Just to keep it up. I can tell you from experience, like I'm not even close to 6'4", 6'5", but when I was in football, dude, I was eating anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 calories a day.
Jesus.
And probably anywhere from 150 to 300 grams of protein a day, you know, eating and drinking, and drinking 2 to 3 gallons of water a day, you know, so it's a lot, you know, and carbs, constant carbs, because believe it or not, people don't believe in carbs and whatnot. There's a lot of good carbs out there, though. Carbs are a natural source of energy, you know, so the more carbs you eat, the more energy you have, but you have to burn it off. Otherwise, the carbs go to a bad spot, you know?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, football saved my life in high school. It was a conduit for me to get my anger out. The only place in the entire world is a football, you know, the only place in the entire world where you can legally beat the shit out of somebody and nobody's going to do anything. You're not going to get the cops called on you, anything like that. The football field, that's where you want to do it. You want to beat the shit out of somebody, go to the football field, fuck them up. You know, so that doesn't mean...
Get some help.
That's the way it works.
Right. That doesn't mean just go to a random football field and point somebody out and be like, come here, let me fuck you up. No, that's not how it works. You got to be on a football team. You got to have all that stuff, the training, blah, blah, blah. Being on a football team is being in a brotherhood. That's for sure. Comparatively to any other sport, there's no other sport that compares to the brotherhood mentality that football has. Literally, it's like a machine with gears, you know. Everybody has to be doing their job and doing it right for the machine to work properly. If one person messes up, clogs up the whole machine, you know, it fucks up everything. With that being said,
it's kind of like having a threesome, you know.
With that being said, this guy,
everybody's got to be doing their thing. Don't fuck it up.
Anyway, what? With that being said, this guy mentioned a locker room story earlier on. With that being said, you know, there is hazing. Hazing is supposed to be
right.
Hazing is supposed to be illegal, but hazing in my football team was borderline abuse.
Yes, I would. I don't know if it was borderline. I think it was. Continue.
Anyway,
Matter of perspective.
So the hazing started off pretty normal. We'd have stupid, goofy little pranks that we'd pull on each other, the smack cam bullshit, stuff like that. Just annoying the shit out of people. Well, some of these motherfuckers would take it too far. They get a little gay with it, okay? When I say gay, we talking fingers up booty holes and dicks are flanging around in the damn shower buck ass naked. I could never understand how people could be buck naked with that many dudes around, bro. And they just walking around, put no towel around they shit, come walking up to you talking about, oh, hey, how you doing? No, get the fuck out of here before I kick your shit off, dude. Like... They fucking push you into a locker, slam that bitch in there, bro. Like, fuck, no.
Yeah.
There's, we, my senior year, we took a trip to Nevada, to play Reno, Nevada's #1 football team, which is 16 hours on a tour bus with a bunch of fucking testosterone-filled 15, 16, 17-year-old boys. Well, all the good ones sat halfway at the bus forward. All the gay motherfuckers sat halfway back. So, all of us people in the front knew who the people were that loved to stick their fingers in people's butts. And so we tried our best to avoid having to use the bathroom, but 16 hours, you're gonna have to go at some point, whether it's a shit or a piss. We definitely tried to avoid taking a shit on the bus because it's a closed quarter space. They didn't have. It was like a porta potty. You wasn't able to flush. So it was like.
You didn't want to be that dude that ruined it for the whole bus.
To ruin it for the whole bus, You take a shit early on, that's another fucking 15 hours of having a 15 hours of shit stank on the bus, So eventually somebody had to take a shit at some point. For the rest of the ride, it was miserable. It was fucking 120 degrees in Arizona at any given point in time. On a bus with a bunch of fucking sweaty dudes. Somebody taking a shit, dude. It's all bad. Okay. Anyway, so a couple of those people in the front, they went to the bathroom, whatever. And I looked over. I shared a seat with my best friend, and I looked over him. I was like, I'm not gonna go back there. I was like, because after the first couple people went, they get halfway down the bus and we hear them say, oh, we got another one, or oh, fresh meat, blah, 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 this and that. And then all of a sudden you look back and they're on the fucking ground getting violated by fingers in the fucking in the poop hole loophole, So it's
like, stop it. Get some help.
It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. So I look over at my best friend. I'm like, I'm not going to the bathroom. I don't care how bad I gotta go. I don't care how bad I go. I was like, fuck. And so, we're well into this trip, and at this point, I was like, fuck, I gotta go. So I look at my coach. I was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, but I don't want to go. He's like, dude, just go to the bathroom. I was like, oh fuck it, So I get down the bus and get halfway. And they all look like they're sleeping or whatever. And I get halfway, and then somebody peeks up and looks up. He's like, oh shit, fresh meat, guys. He turns back behind him, and they're all like, their heads and eyes get all wide and big, and they all pop out. And I'm like, oh shit.
And you're running the gauntlet.
Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, I fucked up. Like, as at this point, I'm fully committed. Like, I gotta go bathroom, dude. Like, I'm gonna fucking piss myself, So I'm like, oh shit. So I was like, whew. I took a breath and
clenched up.
Yeah, clenched up, and I went to take off, and immediately upon me taking off, I got tripped and absolutely pummeled with fingers, dude. I'm sitting there in the fetal position with my hands behind my back trying to cover my fucking asshole. The only way they stopped is one of the coaches got up and was like, what the fuck is going on back there? And I was like, they're fucking violating me back here. And I got up. Dude.
Emotional damage.
You know, so it's like, fuck, you know? And I was like, God damn it. And finally, I went to the bathroom. I was like, got out the bathroom. I was like, oh, they're going to do it on the way back. So I had my slides on. I slipped them bitches off and put them in both my hands. And I got seats on both sides. So I step out the bathroom, close the door, put them in both hands. And I go like this. And I run past. I go swinging my arms, smacking their hands on the way past. You know, I got a couple times, but, you know, not nearly as much as the first time. So, but anyway,
it's an experience that you'll never forget.
Yeah, that shit was, I got violated, okay? And I did not enjoy it at all. Contrary to popular belief, this motherfucker.
I just saying that, you know, you always wonder.
This guy.
You always got that twinkle in your eye. You just like, this is a glimmer. I don't play that game. I'm sorry. You definitely played that game. I did not play that game. I just not doing it.
Anyway, you know, and there's another story I have about that too. Is we had this kid on the football team, just so happened to be his birthday or whatever, and end of the day comes around and we got a few guys, you know, we're all fucking around in the locker room, whatever, and kid comes in and he's like, oh, you know, it's my birthday, and everybody's like, oh shit, it's your birthday, happy birthday, man. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh well, we gotta give you a fucking present, and they all grapple him, you know, and they grapple him, and then they start fucking trying to do the finger thing. You know, and
scary.
They all start trying to do the finger thing, and I'm just standing back here like, what in the fuck is going on right now? You know, I'm standing there watching this shit happen. I'm like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden he ends up on the ground, and I see somebody pull his fucking shorts down to his bare ass cheeks, bro. You know,
that's horrible.
I see somebody pull his cheek, his fucking shorts down to his bare ass cheeks, and they're sitting there, and he's sitting there defending, and finally I see his fucking fingers slip in. Fucking
Stop it. Get some help.
And they damn near stuck their finger in his bare asshole, bro. And I was like, oh, that's when I stepped in. I was like, okay, this is not okay. This is not what's going on.
Now it's went.
Yeah, this is
the extreme level.
Yeah, this is very extreme. Like, this is borderline, like, if not the definition of, you know. So
Time to
let's
move
not
on.
do this shit. So that was when that shit kind of stopped happening. Anyway, so jump forward few years, graduated 2017, Mesa Jackrabbits, moved that same year up here to South Dakota. Spent a couple years figuring out life, trying to get my feet under me and all that stuff. And then come 19 years old, my mom moved up here from Arizona. Left one of my younger sisters down there after she graduated, finished schooling and all that stuff. So she moved up here when I was 19, you know, so I helped her out with all kinds of stuff and stuff like that. It's like, I figured it was the least I could do for all the sacrifices she made for me for the, you know, my 19 years of living. With that being said, she was constantly in and out of the hospital because she had liver disease. Well, one time she went to the hospital, you know, and because she was in more pain than usual, stuff like that, and We're like, well, let's run some tests. We're going to test for certain things. And one of the things that a lot of them that they usually test for a lot of times when it comes to those kinds of things, especially having diseases like that, is cancer, so they tested for cancer. And I'm at work and I get a text message from my mom. I need you to come see me as soon as you can. I have good news and bad news. I was like, oh, fuck. So I get off work and go in there and go to my mom's room. And like, what's up, Ma? She's like, okay, what do you want to hear first? Good news or bad news? I said, well, I mean, nobody in their right mind is not going to want to hear the good news first. So might as well tell me the good news. Well, I was like, well, I thought about it differently. Like, tell me bad news first, so then that way we can end on some good news,
Yep.
So she says they ran the tests, and tests came back positive. I have stage 3 cervical cancer.
That's
one
horrible.
of the most aggressive kinds of cancers. There's 1, maybe 2% that fully recover from it. Most people go back to relapse, from chemo and all that stuff, and most people die from it. So she said, I have stage 3 cervical cancer. Good news is they caught it in time that they can do chemo. Well, she said it's stage 3, but it's high stage 3, so it's almost stage 4. But it's still treatable. So for the next year, in and out the hospital with my mom and all that stuff. So she's doing the chemo. They finally get everything set up for her to do her first round of chemo. She did her first round of chemo. I wasn't able to attend it. She did her second round of chemo. I was able to attend. I took her there myself and all that stuff. And she's getting into it, and she gets about an hour in, and she's like, I feel weird, And then she's like, I need you to get a nurse because I can't feel my body. And we're like, oh shit, like this is bad. So I ran down and like, look, we need a nurse in there bad. She's having some sort of reaction to the chemo. Come to find out, she was having a deathly allergic reaction to the best chemo that they had. So they tried the second best. Same thing happened almost instantly. They're like, well, we gotta stop chemo. That shit was like a 9-pound hammer to the heart, but we can do immunotherapy. A lot of times people have good response to immunotherapy. So they started immunotherapy. She was doing really good, having real great results with it. And then she got sick. Well, when she got sick, they had to stop the immunotherapy so her immune system could fight off the sickness. Her immune system wasn't strong enough to fight off the sickness and the cancer. During that time, it metastasized quite a bit, all the way up to her lymph nodes. Big old bulge right there beside her neck. That's where her lymph nodes are located. So the doctor said, well, unfortunately, the cancer has progressed too much for us to continue immunotherapy. It's like we're looking at about a 2-month survival rate, if even that. So doctor ended up pulling the whole family aside, talking to us, and after that, he's like, can I speak with, her only son, privately for a second? Something that hits so hard. Doctor told me, he's like, she doesn't have much longer to live. You're her only son. Like, you need to be there. You need to make sure that everybody's strong throughout this whole situation. That shit hits different. You don't ever want to be told that, So they ended up, and she ended up spending as much time as she could in the hospital. and they ended up moving her to hospice care. And I was over there all day, every day for the next 2 months. Dealt with all that stuff with my mom till about January, and that's when we found out towards the end of January that she had 2 months to live. Well, towards the beginning of January, she had 2 months to live, and then they had her in hospice care, and I basically watched her health deteriorate that whole time. You know, I have those mental images plastered in the back of my brain. Never be able to forget that stuff. I was one of her power medical of attorney. So I basically had to decide whether or not to put her on a medically induced coma. Because at that point they were giving her so much medicine, she was sleeping all the time anyway. She wasn't coherent enough to make her own decisions and stuff like that. You know, and I knew she wanted to be home and all that stuff. But we knew that wasn't the best for her. Having to tell your mom that, you know, that shit hits different too. But she understood. So yeah. And I jump a little bit of time ahead, and you know, she's laying there and her medically induced coma, breathing or whatever. And don't know if most people know this, but when you start to die like that, you get fluid in your lungs. Well, the fluid in your lungs when you're breathing sounds extremely uncomfortable. So I'm asking the nurse, I'm like, is there anything that you guys can give her to reduce, you know, that sound, so it sounds like she's at least more comfortable or whatever? It's like, we gave her medicine already, but we'll go ahead and prep some more. We can give her a little bit more or whatever. Well, during that time, her breath started to shorten. By the time the nurse got back, she was like, I think she's pretty much on her last leg. Well, and my sister asleep in the other room, and I watched my mom take her last breath, and having to wake up your sister and tell her that shit, and having to call the rest of my family after they just left a few hours before, you know. March 12th was when she passed away, about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. So watched my mom pass away. At the same time, I was trying to deal with the whole situation with my first ex. And then this was all at 20 years old. Jump forward 3 years. First 2 years after my mom passed away was extremely difficult to deal with. I finally had started to find myself and finally started to heal properly, or what I thought was properly. Hadn't been in a relationship for over 3 years. Hadn't even touched a pussy in over 3 years. I was dry as shit. Like, fuck. You know? So.
And just for everybody knows, you know, he's talking some real shit here. He's laying it all out. So what we're going to get into now is just as dead serious. He's going to lay it all out for you guys. So understand that, you know, this is all real, and you know, like and subscribe to this or whatever, you know, give him some support. We'll get in. He does have a little DJ business, so we'll get into that later.
Yep.
But just, you know, honestly listen to what he has to say, because everything has been pretty powerful so far, and even this situation is extremely powerful and very, very informative to what normally goes on in a bad situation, and the way men feel and the way they back away from everybody and stuff like that. So,
yep. All right, so jump forward about 3 years or so. I'm working at this joint or whatever, and got a friend of mine. Invites me over to his place for a little get together for some chick's birthday party or whatever the fuck it was. So I'm like the oldest person there, like 22 years old, almost 23. And it's my buddy and a bunch of other people and few younger girls, 16, 17 years old. They pick up this chick, from work or whatever. She already has a kid and all this stuff, and I had no intentions of ever really pursuing anything with this girl. But she came by or whatever, and she was kind of sitting there looking lonely or whatever, and so I was
hot.
I wasn't thinking that at the time. I thought she was cute. Yeah,
lonely and hot.
I thought she was cute, whatever. So I was like, I didn't want her to be lonely. I didn't want her to feel like she was left out. So I was talking. I was like, "What's up with you? Like, you chilling? You good? Want something to drink? Like, we got drinks here." I was like, "I'm 22. It'd be okay. Whatever." She was like, nah. She had some sort of vape pen or whatever. She was like, "I'm chilling with this," or whatever. So we're sitting there, we're talking, chit chatting, blah blah blah, and the people that brought them there left early, so they didn't really have a ride. So I ended up giving them a ride. Well, I took them to Frying Pan because they wanted a frying pan. I paid for everything. This is who I am. It's just like fucking 1:00 in the morning. So it's two young ass white girls, and I'm a big ass black dude. You can imagine how that shit looked.
Oh yeah,
walking into a restaurant, I looked like a whole ass pimp, dude. Like it was not okay. It was not good. I'm sitting here paranoid as fuck, and they're sitting there like, "What do you keep looking at?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm reading the fucking shit out of this room because I don't want the police to show up. I don't want to try to deal with all this bullshit, Anyway, so like they started telling me about their life and all this stuff, and I was like, man, this chick is real cute. You know what I'm saying? I got her Snapchat and all that stuff, and kind of started talking, and she informed me she wasn't really looking for a relationship and blah blah. And I was like, that's fine, whatever. She's like, but I'll still talk to you, So we talk. We're talking over Snapchat for almost a year, Then she finally just randomly hits me up. It's like, hey, did you want to come over and hang out? And I'm like, well, I'm single. I'm not doing shit. It'd be nice to change the environment a little bit. So I didn't think nothing of it. Came over, hung out. I was over there till almost 1:00 in the morning, and I was like, oh, damn, that was fun. It was nice. I was chilling, didn't really have any real feelings at the time. And then she was like, well, you should come over for my birthday. And I came over for her birthday or whatever, and we hung out for a little bit, and I was like, at this point, I was really feeling this chick, I was like, fuck yeah, I think this could go somewhere. Then we hung out again after that, and at this point, we're like messaging each other, wanting to be able to cuddle and all this kind of stuff, and so we're kind of getting real feelings for each other. And then we hung out again, and started drinking a little bit, and I drank to the point where I couldn't drive home. So she asked me if I wanted to stay the night. So I stayed the night, and she asked me if I wanted to sleep on the couch, or she actually offered if I wanted to sleep in bed with her. I was like, oh shit, okay. I don't know anybody, no man in their right mind that would.
Yeah, exactly. Like that, especially on 3-year dry spells. Damn right.
So ended up spending the night cuddling or whatever. Like a week or two passes, go over there again, spend the night again, spend the night making out and all that stuff. And then the third time I spent the night is when, the business happened. And we were basically, from then on, in a
you guys were
relationship.
together.
Yeah, we were together. Then we were together for almost a year. Then recently, at the end of 2022, coming up on November, beginning of November, find out that my grandma down in Arizona passes away. So I'm sitting here trying to process this. And at this point, me and this chick are well into our relationship. So, we've had a few discussions here and there about certain things. And so she messages me, like, I'm having second thoughts about a relationship and blah, blah, and I don't know what to do and this and that. So sitting here. You
did mention to me one time we were kind of talking about all this and you say that, you do your DJ stuff. And so you're always being social and talking and being happy and vibing, and this is like, you guys were together for like 2-3 months and everything was great. And then all of a sudden she started pointing that out. Like she didn't want you to be quite so.
It wasn't quite that. So it was actually closer to the beginning of our relationship. She started pointing that stuff out. So, we got together June 1st. And about July is when she started pointing that stuff out. So it was about a month into our relationship.
Now just listen to this, guys. This is what I'm saying. Listen to this point very good. So he is who he is.
Yeah.
And she got into a relationship with who he is, him as himself. A month later, this is what happens.
Yeah. So, she's got this best friend. I ain't really know this chick, but I'm a nice person. Like I always am going to talk to somebody or whatever and this and that. Anyway, so 4th of July comes around, and I, spent 4th of July with her and her family or whatever. And so she, her best friend is sitting there or whatever, and I'm sitting there just chilling on the bench, watching a video on my phone. The best friend comes up. I didn't think nothing of it, I'm just like, whatever. Her best friend comes up, sitting next to me. She's like, where do you find all these weird videos on Facebook, blah, blah. Anyway, long story short, few days go by or whatever, and I'm working at this place where I have to do over the road traveling and stuff like that. Well, while I'm on the road or whatever, and about to be on my way home, she's messaging me or whatever, or we're on video chat, and she's telling me, why are you so nice to my best friend, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, am I not supposed to be nice to your best friend? Like, it's your best friend. I don't want to,
The last thing you wanted, like if it was the other way around, last thing you want your girl to do is to kind of be a dick to your best friend, right? He's like, at least fucking, if you don't like him, fucking be nice,
right?
So even if you liked her or not, just be nice. It's because you don't want to cause fucking ripples and shit,
right? So I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you just give off this vibe to her. She's like, I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I don't know, it's just this vibe. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, am I not supposed to be nice? It's like, this is who I am. Like, I'm just a nice person. She's like, yeah, I know that's who you are, but it's just annoying. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll talk about this when I get home, whatever. So we ended up waiting a little while. And we were talking about it and talking about it with one of her other friends, and then we brought it back up and she was talking about it. I was like, what kind of vibe do I even give off? Apparently I give off this single person vibe. I didn't realize I gave it off until she started describing some of the shit that I would do and stuff like that. And I was thinking about, I was like, yeah, that's fair enough. I shouldn't do certain shit while I'm in a relationship with somebody else. But like, I'm not gonna not talk to her friends and whatnot and just be giving them the cold shoulder, you know. So to please her and to please myself, like, I would be clingy to her.
Well, yeah, and
you know,
the deal is like you say, to please her and please yourself. It was basically to please her. To correct me if I'm wrong, it was you're gonna please her, and you understood that you probably should at least try to change to be this for her. Because I mean,
right,
being understanding, right?
Yeah.
And but you were who you were, and then shortly later, you know, she got into a relationship with who you were, and shortly later, who you were wasn't good enough, or wasn't the way she wanted you to be. She wanted to change you.
Right.
Right? You didn't see it like that at that time. I'll guarantee you didn't say, "Oh, you're trying to change me," because you didn't. You know, you were trying to see it from her perspective,
Right?
Instead of looking at it from like I always tell the guys, looking at it from my perspective as, man, if you don't like me, get to stepping, because this person over here will like me. Leave me alone.
Right.
You know.
So anyway, yeah, so I changed myself and stuff like that, and
how'd that really work out in the end?
I still don't know. I'm be honest with you. Like, I still don't know.
It wasn't too much longer, and it kind of just steadily went downhill.
I'm still
and
trying to figure shit out with that whole thing. So,
and it's a lot of things, and I really mean this seriously, that women do this stuff sometimes on purpose, sometimes. But I think mostly it's subconscious.
Yep, subconscious.
They don't even know they're doing it. It's a way to, I guess, you know, when they nag, you know, somebody's nagging you all the time, or somebody's complaining all the time, or like this, they want you to change to be something. It's not that they're meaning to do. I don't think they purposely mean to do it. I think it's their way of testing, to making sure you're still the same guy, the same stand-up, solid, dominant male that they got into a relationship with, and you haven't changed. You know, just little bit by little bit. I think they do this just to test. Just to, and it's maybe it's just some reassurance to themselves, but you see it constantly. Women will nag, like, you know, let's just say a regular nag. Everybody knows and can relate with that. A woman will nag, and if you know, break down and do all the stuff, she will nonstop, and it will get worse, and it'll compound.
It's like you said, you know, it's for assurance for themselves, the reassurance for themselves, still trying to make sure that they're still getting into the right situation, what they believe is the right situation. That they pick the best. Yeah, that they still... Yeah,
you're still the best man.
Yeah, still the best situation for them, or whatever it may be. You know, and I've had a lot of time to think about that. Anyway, you know, so after that, everything's going pretty well. We're infatuated with each other, blah, blah. I'm still infatuated with her. I'm not even gonna lie to you. You know, I'm just taking it day by day, really. Anyway, so then come November, working a different job, find out my grandma passes away. She messages me talking about a relationship. So I'm trying to process this whole situation with my grandma passing away and trying to be there for her at the same time. And we both kind of just brushed it all off, you know, didn't really properly talk about any of it. Then a month later, 2 weeks before Christmas, I get fired from my job. And then a month later, she decides she doesn't want to be with me, for specific reasons. some stuff that had happened between us that made her uncomfortable, and I didn't realize it made her as uncomfortable as it did, but it did. Can't change it. Want to so bad, but can't change it. I realize that, you know.
Well, and like I say, I talk about men and all the time. You know, women, if they choose to do something, hey, that's they have every right to, you know, say yes or no, and just choose to, I don't want to be with that person. Same way with you, if it was somebody that like hounds your ass and it's like a pain in the ass, and you have the right, just I'm done with it. You know,
Right,
walk
right.
away. Everybody's got choice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but and I know, like I say, once it got, after it ended, you know, things spiraled for you.
Yeah, it sure did. So after it ended, you know, we tried to make a friendship work or whatever, and I just got too far into my head. I tried to take on problems that didn't need to be taken on. I tried to find a solution to problems that didn't need my solution. You know, she just basically needed time to herself to figure herself out, you know, and I couldn't live with that really. Which then caused her to resent me even more. And I struggled with it a lot. And then, you know, so she blocked me or whatever, and I was finally able to talk to her and get her to unblock me and stuff. And recently, she basically said she just doesn't want me to message her for however long, you know. And that was really when things were starting to spiral. But before that, during the month of February, I attempted, so with everything that happened, it all filled up to the brim, and the whole relationship thing kind of sent everything over the edge. Now my mind is a whirlwind. Am I ever going to be good enough for somebody else? When is life going to give me a break? All this stuff, you know, all the stuff that goes through people's heads. Month of February, just with everything that had happened, in 4 weeks, I attempted to take my life 3 times. Extremely hard struggling with all that stuff. Then recently, she decided she didn't want me to message her at all, and they basically sent me to rock bottom. At that point, I didn't have any motivation at all. I hit rock bottom. I had to admit myself into behavioral health and clear my mind and all that stuff. Got prescribed depression and anxiety medicine. But the thing I'm trying to get at with this whole situation is it's a different feeling for dudes.
Yeah, because we as men love differently than women.
Yeah,
women love, like we talked about it before, was women love opportunistically. They're looking for an opportunity when they get with someone, not in a weird sick way, but they're always with a guy because he's of status, or he's got a lot of money, or he's got a lot going for himself. That's attractive to them. Us, they hot, they cool. We love them for them.
Right.
I mean, we love for real, for men.
Know, and with that being said, when she broke up with me, she said, I love you so much. She's like, I just can't love you in a relationship. Like, how are you supposed to take something like that, you know? She says she loves me as a person. Well, that's the fucking story of my life, isn't it? Fuck, you know? I hear that shit all the time with any other fucking female I talk to. I thought you were different, you know? But it's neither here nor there. I didn't really get too upset about that, you know? But during, this whole time, I just have been, my mind was really spiraling out of control, dude. Like, constant thoughts of self-harm and constant thoughts of Am I good enough? You know, when am I going to get a break? All this stuff, you know, and like I said, I hit rock bottom. Had to admit myself and get prescription medication and all that stuff. With that being said, females always ask, you know, well, why don't guys ever want to get into a relationship with like a single mother or something like that?
Well, I can explain why.
Let's just put it like this, because when we get into a relationship with a single mother, which that's what my relationship was, not only do you have this what feels like an unbreakable bond with the person that you're loving, but then you start to create a very, very strong bond with their child. And I've seen this in another video. Dude mentioned the reason why men will 9 times out of 10 not choose to be in a relationship with a single mother is because, let's say we are in a relationship and something happens. Now we lose you and the kid, and we have a connection with that kid like it's our own kid. But downside is we have no legal right to that kid at all. There's nothing that we can do, you know, when it comes to that kid. So that's also a very tough mental strain, you know? So every day was excruciating, because not only did I miss her, but I missed her kid coming home and running up and giving me hugs and all this kind of stuff and saying I love you, and like, you know, like it's.
Well, I get it, and trust me, I talk about this for a reason, okay? And I'm going to go on a little bit of a tirade here. You know me, you know what I'm going to say. So I'm going to go on a little tirade here, but what it is that it starts all the way back from the beginning of his relationship or whatever. As soon as she starts questioning him, he needs, and if your woman's doing it, you need to stand firm. You are who you are. She either likes you, you don't. I mean, and if she don't, walk. You know, it's the end of story. I'm dead serious. Do not in any way cave to her. A relationship is a certain sets up in a certain way, right? Men lead relationships, right? There can only be one leader. So the other person in a relationship, which generally female, they follow. Okay. And it just has to be that for the overwhelming percentage of couples that are male led and female follow, they're the relationships that work and last overwhelmingly. The ones that try to be equal, 50-50, it only lasts a year. If they do last a few years and then they get married, it only lasts like 3 or 4 years and they're gone. So it doesn't work. It just never does. Okay. They want a woman wants a strong, dominant leader that's better than them in most ways. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're equal as human beings, but men and women are different. So just adjust in that. If they try to change you, don't walk.
Right.
And then, like I say, you got to look at where he came from. I'm picking on you, but I ain't picking on you, if you know what I mean. I wish I'd have known you then, because we would have had this conversation. You wouldn't be in this place. So that even at the beginning, you heard that, you know, he kind of on dry. He hadn't dated anybody for like years. You know, don't get me wrong. He's a young, good looking guy. Don't get me wrong, but he had a lot going on and stuff. And you know, obviously maybe part of it is a male role model he didn't have in the formative years of high school and stuff.
Yep.
So, you know, to kind of teach you how to do that stuff. And a lot of men don't. So that's kind of what we're making up for, you know, trying to explain to you guys that he, you know, he was happy to have, I mean, this girl, you know, this woman that was paying attention to him. He was happy. It made his life.
Really did.
You know what I mean? Because he had nothing. He wasn't good with women before. You know what I mean? And it wasn't working. So when he did, he latched on. And we do that as guys. I don't give a fuck who you are. And you can bullshit yourself all you want. You've done it, or you are doing it. You know, it takes a while to learn, to understand. It's like, I don't need to fucking do this shit, right? So you latch on, and then they are in control. They are leading the relationship, because you'll do anything they fucking want. You're just so goddamn happy that they're there, right? So, then it leads to, okay, them doing a little bit of testing and shit, trying to change you, and you do. Well, now starting to lose respect for you, because you're not the man. You're caving to their needs. Now, if you're being a dick, okay, don't get me wrong. If you were being a complete dick, and literally flat out hitting on their girlfriend just open, or the girlfriend's just openly, right? Or maybe messaging them openly, trying to get a date with them and do all that. Okay, I can see her come and talk to you, and you say, yeah, I'm being a dick.
Right.
I get that. But what you weren't doing shit. You weren't doing that. You were just being you, and she wanted you not to be you, which is bullshit. Because if you turned around and looked at her and say, hey, you do this, I don't want you to be you, she'd be pissed and tell you, fuck off, get out. And you know it. So that's what I mean. She leading the fucking relationship, because she ain't going to back down. You know what I mean? You back down. It's like playing chicken, and you're the one that backed down. And you can't do that, not with a woman. You know what I mean? So then even you get into, she's a single mother. And this is the hard part. A lot of women, younger, they start younger and younger. A lot of women have kids, and they had kids with a douchebag that didn't want nothing to do with it. We get it. I mean, we understand. Is it your fault? I get yelled at a lot, but fuck yeah, it's your fault. I mean, you're the ones that get women are the ones that get to choose who gets born. We have no fucking say-so whatsoever. All we get to do is the deed. The next fucking 9 months is entirely up to you. If we say no, that child's not being born, doesn't fucking matter. If we say yes, we want that child, doesn't fucking matter. It's whatever you. So don't sit there and tell us as men that it's our goddamn fault and the guy's a fucking loser. You fucking chose, and you chose the loser to have sex with. So just to say, to get off, I'm just laying it out there right fucking now the way it is. On top of that, you want a good guy, to come and take you and your child, right? I get it. I see the mentality, and I know that the women want it. I mean, they don't want to be alone the rest of their life. They're going to want this shit. But they go and they get, they're a package deal. Of course they are, but they got to understand that in the dating market, their value has dropped drastically. They're not, if you're talking somebody was like an 8, right? Like extremely beautiful, 22 years old, really nice person. She's an 8. You put a kid with her having a one kid, all of a sudden she's about 5.5. You know what I mean? Her value drops because of that, because you have to take on that burden. You have to be willing to, you're young. Do you really want to take on a burden of that's not even yours? No, most guys don't. Okay. Plus it's financially freaking expensive as hell. So this is why I say single mothers are recreational use only. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for that shit, but this is the truth. They're recreational use only, because you take on a single mother. You can love her to death. At some point, you're not only going to have to be somewhat involved in the life, you're going to have to be involved in that kid's life. Even if the mom says, no, maybe the first 6 months, you won't have to. Maybe, let's say, the first year. But 3-4 years, 5 years, you guys in a serious relationship, you guys are planning on getting married, you're going to be dad. You know what I mean? You ain't going to be the dad. He might still be in the picture, you know, seeing the kids and whatnot, but you're going to be the father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to pick up all that responsibility, and you're going to have to be financially responsible for them too. You know, there ain't no way you'd be like, you know, oh, hey, you want to go pick up the kids, and hey, they haven't ate. You want to take them out to dinner? There ain't no way you're going to be like, cash act me some shit then.
Right.
You know, because you know how long that woman would be like, fuck this guy, he out. You know, fuck that loser, right? So we all fucking know, it's common goddamn sense, right, that men have to take this on, and it's not a good fucking look. For, you know, for one, it's a bad move, because you, at some point, let's say, you know, even you, let's say that would have worked out. At some point, you would have been 100% responsible for her and that child with zero fucking authority. You know what that's called? If somebody is 100% responsible to complete a task, but gets nothing for it. It's a horrible word. Slavery. It's no shit. Think about it.
Yeah.
There's no upside. You could be together 10 years. That kid can be freaking irritating a living piss out of you, being mad. All she got to do is say, oh, this did this, oh, this, and you're done. You just lost your relationship. Just because kids pissed off at you.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the woman, but it's always a possibility. And you wonder why we have a dating single mothers. Well, there's a fucking problem. It adds in a whole other factor, you know, and women just think, oh, well, everybody has kids. No, they don't, you know? So a single mother, not saying there ain't wonderful people out there that are single mothers, and there's not wonderful women out there that are single mothers that deserve a wonderful man and deserve a wonderful life. I'm not saying there's not. Just saying the majority, as you know, I guarantee you know, we all do, don't deserve it. They don't. And for a guy to bust his ass to gain wealth, start a business, to try to grow and do everything, to provide for a child, or, you know, and a woman and a child that's not even his, then, and she isn't being 50 times better than any other woman, she should be goddamn happy. I'm not saying that you single mothers should grovel to men. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you find a good one, you best frickin' be 10 times better than any other woman, because you are carrying a hell of a burden, and your fault, not your fault, the guy's fault, nobody gives a shit. It is what it is. It's an extremely bad situation for a man to put himself in. All I'm saying, that's why I tell single men, if you're single and you have no children, single mothers are recreational use only. You do not date them or take them seriously. You date them, but you do not take them seriously. You have no, I know it's hard, and I know it's a horrible thing to say, but trust me, about 10 years from now, you'll be like, I get why he's saying that. Well, I've been through this.
What I would say to single men, you know, do your best to stay away from a single mom relationship. You know, if you don't got to be in that relationship, don't be in it, because you're going to put yourself through a fuck ton of mental strain that doesn't need to happen. Because, you know, it's like you said, let's say it does work out for a longer period of time. At some point, something might happen and you guys might break up, and it's a very high possibility, because for them, they've spent a lot of time by themselves with their kid. It's easy for them to go back to that life. You know, it's not easy for you to go back to your life because you dropped your life for them. That's what happened with me. That's why I was struggling so bad.
And it's just take a, you know, everybody just think of this situation or scenario in your head real quick. All right. Just first thought right off your mind. You got two women, right? Both of them are 28. They're twins, right? 28. Drop dead gorgeous. One of them's got 2 kids. The other one's doesn't have any kids. Which one do you date? Exactly. You see what right off the bat, you know exactly which one you'd pick first. They're twins. They're exactly the same. You know, there's a preference over one versus the other. You honestly have to think that, like you said, you got to think about it. Me, I have 2 children, and I raise alone. You know, so I am not just a weekend warrior single father. I am a single 24/7 father.
Right.
So it's a little different for me because, you know, just the way I'm sure you come across it in your relationship. There was times you're like, hey, maybe we can get together, you know, and she's like, no, I got this to do. I got to spend time with my kid, you know. Well, it's exactly the same for me too.
Right.
So they're going to have to deal with that same bullshit that I have to deal with when I have time and they don't. Mm-hmm. And well, when they have time, I don't. Yeah. I mean, but when you're single, you're SOL because, you know what I mean? You got to go find something else to do.
Right.
You know, and they honestly, I think women use that as an excuse a lot just to not see you.
But yeah, anyway, with that being said, you know, it's like, that's one of the things I was struggling so hard with was I knew it was going to be easy for her to go back to her life because that's what it was before me. You know, her life never changed other than the fact that I became part of it. And now I'm no longer part of it, you know? And so she's reliving all the stuff that she did prior to me being there, you know? And I can't just go back to what the fuck I was doing before then because I dropped everything for her and her kid, you know? And it's just, I don't know. It's just a lot.
And that's like you said there, that's why I say men lead, right? Because if you give up what you got and you get off your purpose, right? And to get more of, to include her more and more and more, you're not the man you were. And that's why I'm saying men, for a guy, I mean, honest way to, you live your life. The women will come. And if they stay, they stay. And if, honestly, though, I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but it works and you'll understand in years. I'm telling you guys, you'll understand it. That if the moment she's like, well, I don't think we need to probably be together or whatever, like, I'll say, sweet. I would have had her friend by the end of the night. I tell you what, you want to get over a woman? Boom, done. Yeah. All of a sudden, she wants to get back together with you because she's like, hey, hey, we were done. You know, the easiest thing to keep a woman, I hate to say it, I mean, it sounds horrible, but to get the best out of a woman, because I was going to say keep a woman in check, you know, but to get the best from a woman is to always be able to replace her like that. The moment you have 4 or 5 other women that are fighting for it, would love to have her position, would fight for it, she'll be on her best behavior. She ain't going to pull no bullshit.
Right. You know, the shitty part is like, I would still always choose her over anybody else. It's just because of what I wanted is what I had with her. That's what I wanted in my life, you know, it's what I had with her. I'm not going to want to try to start that with somebody else, you know, that's just,
and it is. And I get it. You know what I mean? When you get it, I mean, we play it over and over in our head that, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And man, it just becomes our whole life, our whole purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what we want. Now, right? Now the deal is you still want that. Thing is, you got to get her out of your head,
Yeah.
right?
That's
The only way to do that
right.
is to be a hoe. Hey, I'm dead serious. I know it
And
sounds
you know,
horrible.
and that's the hard part.
Just be a hoe for about 2-3 months. I guarantee the thought of her will still be there, but it isn't really that big of a thing no more. And then you can realign what your purpose is. Instead of your purpose being her and the family, your purpose is, hey, my business, I need to grow it. I'm making good money. I'm growing. I got, cars, I got house, I got everything that I can provide for a family, right? And then when a woman comes, that's just cherry on top.
Right. And that's where I was starting to be at when I met her, and she was the cherry on top. She'll always be the one. Like I firmly believe that. It's like Steve Harvey said, something about a man is men are so simple into the fact that we know if she's the one 6 months into a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
6 months. That's all it takes for us. For her, might take 6 years, might take 3 years.
Might take 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Women is nuts.
It's just,
we come on, women are crazy. We all fucking know women is nuts, right?
But for us, we know in 6 months. So I know that she's the one. I know that she's the one I've been looking for, the one I wanted to be with, the one I want to marry. I will firmly believe that probably for the rest of my life.
Do you realize that there's like 4.5 billion women on this planet?
I know they outnumber men.
Oh yeah.
10 to 1,
so you got this one out of 4.5 billion. I would say let's try a couple 100,000 just to make sure. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. You just like I didn't sleep with the whole world, but let's get and to test the waters to see like, oh hey, you might be like this gal's great. She's a lot like her, but this is different. I like that. And then that don't work out. Whatever. You go to another and it's like, oh, this girl's great. It's kind of like those. Not really. This one's better. And it trust me. I tell you what. It's a fucking thing. I mean, we're dudes. Post-nut clarity is a fucking goddamn godsend sometimes. You know what I mean? There's how many times? This all right. We'll let you in on a little secret here. I'll tell you the fucking truth though, right? How many times have you've been sleeping with someone, getting it on, doing the thing, and the moment you're done, you lay there and you're like thinking to yourself, what the fuck am I doing here? I gotta get the fuck out of here, right? God damn. I mean, there's times. I mean, that's post-nut clarity, man. And the thing is, if you keep yourself in post-nut clarity, you keep yourself there, trust me, there's all that fucking woman and bullshit. It doesn't need to fucking bother you.
And that's the problem. I ain't been with enough females to have ever had that.
Listen here, bud. We are gonna fix this shit up.
Look.
You got to keep like 4 or 5 on the roster just in case, right? Because you always got to have them competing a little bit because there's always got to be somebody willing to take their spot. Just the same way as you, right? As a man with, let's say, this gal, you really think that there was no one standing in line to take your spot? Whether she was going to entertain that person or not, you don't think there was somebody? I'll guarantee.
I'm sure there was.
I will guarantee that chick, whoever, all chicks, all women are getting at least 5 to 10 DMs from guys asking for something or trying for something or trying to lead into something a week, every week. All the time, nonstop. I mean, me and you, And we get one a month, and we'd be like, yeah,
No
fuck
shit.
yeah, you know. They get like 5 to 10 a week, every week, their entire fucking life, you know. So they know that they can do what they want because there's always going to be another to take their spot. You, on the other hand, don't have that abundance mindset, you know, because it's, you know, like I say, dude, it's hard to find women. I mean, we're dudes. It's hard for, you know, you got to fucking work for it. They just have to exist, and we go after them.
Here's something that I want to say to females. Put yourself in a man's shoes, okay? Look at it like this. Let's just say, for instance, the roles were flopped, okay? We're the ones getting pursued. We're the ones, all this shit right here. Do you know how hard it is to be the person that has to make the fucking first move, that has to, you know, deal with the constant rejection? 1 out of every 10 girls that you might try to hit on or try to get, you know, try to take on a date, 1 out of every 10 might tell you yes.
Oh yeah, and like I say, even the best guys, you know, that do pick up and have great game and a lot of stuff. They're 10% is like the top notch. They're the best guys at it. It's usually like 2 or 3 for average. For
them, their relationships don't even last. No, they don't have relationships.
No, because they don't fucking want them. They don't need them. And the thing is this: you got to be you have to be what women want, right? Women always tell you, right? Oh, be yourself, right? You got a woman now?
Fuck no.
You're being yourself, right?
Yeah.
Women's dating advice is trash, all right? Don't fucking listen to women. They don't even know what the fuck they want, right?
Okay,
they have zero clue what they need or want.
I wouldn't say all women. I think women under the age of 25.
I'm saying 95% or better women have zero clue what they want. Okay, another example. Women are always like, God, I wish I could just find a nice guy, right? But you know her, right? And you know she's got 2 or 3 friends, guys that would want to get with her, fucking great guys. She don't want nothing to do with them.
And you're one of them.
And a fucking week later, what do you see? She's leaving the fucking bar or leaving the club or whatever with some fucking dickhead. Women don't even know what they're fucking attracted to, right? They have zero clue. So don't listen to a woman ever when it comes to that, because they don't even fucking know.
Speaking of which, I'll give you an instance of some shit that happened to me like that. It was when I was in high school. Me and my best friend, basically identical in every way, other than the fact that he's white and I'm black. So he's same build, around the same weight, all that kind of shit. Like, you would think that we were literally brothers with the way that we act towards each other and all that shit. But he's white and I'm black. Anyway, so
never noticed. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, so, you know, we're sitting at lunch one time, and, you know, in high school we had quite a few friends that were girls. For whatever reason, him and I, we get along better with girls than we do with men. It's just who we are, whatever. The only men that we get along with better than females is ourselves. Like, him and I spend all fucking day together and never be bored, you know? Anyway, so we're sitting at the lunch table, and there's a couple girls are talking or whatever, and oh, fucking men this and men that, men are so fucking such pieces of shit. And then they look over at the both of us, both being single as shit. They know this. Yep. They look over at both of us. Why can't men be more like you?
But they don't want none of dating you, are they?
I am them, bro. What do you mean? Yeah. We're right here. I mean, come on. What? Because we don't fit the fucking ripped look that you want, or the fucking, you know, whatever the fuck you're looking for when it comes to looks. So we fit every other fucking aspect of what you're looking for.
99% of the time, their main thing is to just like, okay, for us. Well, I mean, honestly, when you break it down to a few simple things, what are we really looking for? We're looking for youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Beauty,
Mm-hmm.
and fertility.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. And if they have a decent personality, great. I mean, other than that, we don't really give a fuck. We don't really need a whole lot. That's all we look for. Women look for something completely different. They look for security. Their main thing, security. Whether it's physical, because you can protect them. You know, they're the weaker sex. I mean, it's just the way it is. So that's something, you know, biological, ingrained in them subconsciously. They look for it's a man to be physically stronger to protect them. Physical security. They want emotional security, right? Somebody that's going to understand them, that they can let loose around, you know,
right,
and not feel violated, you know, or anything like that, which we don't really give a fuck about, but we'll sit there and nod our fucking head, you know. Anyway, and financial security, which they're like, no, we're not gold diggers. Bullshit. I mean, are they gold diggers? Are all women gold diggers? No. There's probably 5% of women that's actually what they are. But every one of them is born with a shovel. Every fucking one. You know why? Because they're looking for that. They don't want to have to fucking fight and struggle through life. They want somebody that's going to be able to take care of them. Let's say that, you know, they're just themselves, just single. You're just, you know, yourself single. They want to get with a guy that's going to be able to help support them and your children, that they're going to be very vulnerable and probably can't work while having children. So they want you to be able to support. I mean, seriously, you got to think about, they subconsciously look for this shit. I mean, it's ingrained in them, just like you want beauty and youth, because fertility is generally a young, beautiful woman. You know, is that the chances of having a child, that basically the chances, you ain't looking for a 45-year-old chick to have a kid with, because the chance of having a kid is absolutely impossible, right?
Right.
So you're looking for somebody that's childbearing age, you know, regardless. Even if you're 35, you can be looking for a 35-year-old chick that can probably not really have a great chance of having a kid. No, you're looking for like a 25-year-old, because that's their prime years. So there's a reason why, you know, what we each look for. The only thing is we need to become that.
Right.
Now, women want to be equal, right? And as humans, we are, right?
Can we get into that? Let's get into that. I want to get into that a little bit.
Here we go. This is the deal. As humans, we are. As humans' rights, well, I mean, they got more rights than us, but I mean, we're equal that way. We're not going to fucking sit, bitch, and complain about it.
Legally, we have the same rights. But when you say they have more rights than us, those are more unwritten rights, quote unquote.
Well, I mean, they have a choice to, you know, for abortion. They can, even though it's now in the States and things like, they can go 50 miles or 200 miles and do it. We can't fucking do that. We don't have a choice. So they have the right, we don't.
Right.
Right? There's a right. Did you have to sign up for selective service for the draft? Women don't. I gotta go to the fucking draft. Really? You gotta go to the fucking draft, but they get a choice.
I automatically got signed up for the draft.
Exactly.
Really. They sent me a card when I was 18. I think I was one of the last generations to get that.
Oh no, it's still on.
But with that being said, because my pops had a stroke or whatever, I'm my dad's only eligible son to go to the military. And because he can't fight and he doesn't have any other sons, they won't draft me until, you know,
the end. Yeah. They have to.
Yeah.
But the thing is we don't have the right not to.
Right.
Women do. So there's another right. You know what I mean? So they got more rights than what we do. They get, but are we really going to bitch and complain about it? It's just the way the fucking life is. We don't give a shit. Right. So it sucks that, life is this way. They want equal when it benefits them, and they don't want it equal when it benefits them.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I was going to get into. It's just like, I've talked to plenty of females and whatnot, and a lot of them have the same fucking answer, and it pisses me off. It's like,
all women are the same motherfucking person. They just have different tactics to get to it. They're all the same goddamn woman.
They're like, well, the world would be better without men, blah blah blah. I'm like, how do you figure, dude? The world didn't start with Eve and Eve. It started with Adam and Eve, dude. Like, come on. Like, men can't live without women, and women can't live without men. It's just that simple.
They did a study, or a practice run in the AI. It was a couple months ago, whatever, they took the United States and then removed all men, and figured, what would happen and hypothesized whatever it is, whatever happened. And, I think it was 8 months before society collapsed because the power was shut down, water was shut down. Women don't do this stuff. The sewer was clogged. They don't know how. They couldn't really build too much, and you know what I mean. It's not like they can't. They just don't fucking want to.
Right.
So yeah, society collapsed basically, and the country was taken over. They did the flip. They did the opposite, where they took men and removed all women. We survived fine till we all died. We just couldn't reproduce. Right. But other than that, society was great. We survived for, I don't know, it was like 40 years. You know what I mean? They got but they're like, no, we can do as much. Great, do it. I don't see you doing it. I don't see your ass out there fucking shoveling in the heat. I don't keeping up doing it. Well, but there's different. No, there's not. If you fucking can do it, do it. It's just like all these women saying, oh, I can fight a man. I don't think any of these women have ever had a man actually go hard on them. You know what I mean? I mean, and I'm not saying men to do this, don't. But women, if you're in a situation, a man is extremely angry, and fucking run. Like, don't try to fight him. It's you have no idea the actual amount of destruction that a man can do when he's angry. And I'll guarantee 99% of the time women deal with men. We deal with them even when we're angry. We deal with them with kid gloves, because we fucking know, that's why women. Another deal is that's why women fucking lip off and do the fuck shit that they do, because they know there's no real consequence. Now, if we acted like them, right, in front of men,
we're the dickheads.
If we acted like, how a woman's being a fucking, 'cause we can't do nothing to them. If, let's say, a woman's doing that to me, I decide to act just like her to you. I fucking know I better not, because there's goddamn consequences. We fucking know as men, you knock your shit off and we're going to rock your fucking world. You know what I mean? You best fucking knock your crap off. Right? Women don't, what are you going to do? You ain't going to hit them.
Right.
And if you do, you're the fucking pariah of the fucking world. Right? So they're the extreme victim now, and fuck you. But there are men out there that are willing to do it and wanting to do it. I honestly say there's a few, not a lot, but I'll guarantee there's a few men that are just waiting for the opportunity to fucking fall off and hit a woman full force. To do. I mean, serious. I know there is. And then what I tell women, if you ever in that situation, run, and just get away as fast as you can, as far as you can. Yeah, because let the dude, if you're in a relationship with him, let's say, and he's really fucking, just run and get away and talk to him the next day when he's calmed down. You know, whatever. That's entirely up to you, but run. Don't think you're going to stand toe to toe with a man and fight, because I don't care how a 14-year-old fucking high school boy will fucking beat the living shit out of most women. You know what I mean?
Right.
Without a problem, let alone a grown ass man. So it's a dead serious, women. You need to get, fucking run. Don't get involved in that shit.
Anyway, going back to the whole like statistics thing that you were just talking about, the whole thing. I did want to bring up a statistic. So they've been doing recent studies about mental health and suicide, and because it's becoming more and more prominent. And I don't know the exact percentage over women versus men.
It's the exact numbers I haven't looked at for a few months, but
I know that the ratio is something like,
for men it's ridiculously high.
It's something like every 20 men are going through with it versus, to every one woman, so it's like, yeah, and a lot of it stems from these relationship situations that we were just talking about,
and they want the deal, like you say, the why that is women nowadays, they feel they deserve a top tier man. You know what I mean? They deserve an average woman, a 5, that doesn't really have anything, that maybe has one kid, average. She thinks she deserves this guy that makes $250,000, $300,000 a year, got all this shit, got his own business. They all think that. So they don't even really look at the average guy. You know what I mean? So you got all these average men, which the world is, the United States or whatever, is generally average men. There's only like I think there's only like 10 or 12% of people in the United States make $100,000 or more.
Right.
And that's ugly, fat, married, women, gay, you know what I mean? So you take all them out, there's really only like 4 or 5% of men single, that's dateable, I guess, that make that. But women think that like 30 or 40%, 50% make that much money and can do that stuff. So if you don't make, they don't even look at you. And the reason why they think that is on social media now. Years ago, when I was younger, we kind of had to date within our town or the immediate towns around us, within the county, let's say, something like that. So we had, 10,000 women to select from.
Right.
So, you kind of had to pair up. That's all you got. You know what I mean? Nowadays, an average girl, 5, 6, maybe, will get frickin', flown out to Dubai and get offers to go to, over to, California or Florida or the Bahamas, or you know what I mean? They'll get attention from millionaires, that are on there, or guys with high status, maybe even like a rapper or,
right.
Stuff like, how the hell is a fucking average, if an average girl is getting that attention from men, how in the hell is she going to pay attention to the average guy that works freaking, in the factory?
Right,
it's your average dude is right next to you. You ain't going to do that. So that means more men are going single, being single or without without having sex, you know? So when a woman, they do finally get a woman, you know, and the woman, you know, she's trying, but she's not really, because she's got all these other fucking people hitting her up constantly, and they're way above average. Well, why in the hell would she stay with you? Because obviously, if these 10, 15 above average men are hitting me up, well, obviously, you're way below my league. I should be up here, right? And that's the way they think. So they don't even give they just drop. So it destroys you. And they're just, you know, the deal is they go to them, they just getting nailed is all, you know what I mean? They're getting flown around a little bit. They get trips. Maybe they might get a handbag. They might get whatever, but they're just getting laid and then thrown back.
Right.
There's nothing really substantial there, but they don't look at that. They think that, oh, well, I can get him, you know, or whatever. At the same time, it destroys you because you're everything you can be at the moment. And it's not enough, and you really cared, and then she dropped you like a. So that's why the for self-deletion, I guess, rate is getting higher, is because, you know, it crushes guys. I mean, a woman can be the greatest thing for a man, or she can destroy you. She can be. I mean, not just. I mean, she could destroy your life. You know, you could have everything. You could be a millionaire. You could have all that, and a woman can just destroy your life.
Yeah,
if you picked the wrong one.
My whole life just it spiraled, dude. Spiraled way out of control after the whole situation, because it's like her words can be the softest thing in the world. It's like clouds hitting you in the face. But then they could also be like daggers being thrown at you as hard as they can be thrown at you. And each one of them stabs you right in the heart. And it's the worst feeling, the sharpest one of them all, the biggest one of them all, is her silence. Her silence is like a broadsword or a great sword, razor sharp, decapitating you.
Yep.
You know? So it's like
you gotta refocus a little, you know what I mean? Take a step back, find what your purpose was and what you want to do, and start. All right, that is going to refocus your purpose and not be codependent. Get back to being who you were. Be happy with who you are. Be happy with your success. Start being able to puff that chest out again. You know what I mean? Right? You know, you're once you start, trust me, women are going to take notice.
Right.
Women have a fucking inherent superpower.
I say that.
I don't know how in the fuck they do it.
I don't know how they can do it.
It's like say, so you can walk into a room with 50 people and we'd be like, whatever, you know, we don't have a clue. And we're like, all right, whatever. And we just walk in. Women, they take a step in that room. They take one look and they know, oh, that guy's a loser. That guy's this guy's that. They fucking know, right?
It's like I say, it's like they have this seventh sense as well. When dudes are in relationships, women see that there's a happy dude in a happy relationship, blah, blah, this and that. So it's like all these females that were in the woodworks before are not coming out of that shit somewhere out of nowhere. It's because
it's actually a thing. It's called pre-selection.
That shit doesn't make no sense.
Put it this way, and this is what, just for you can kind of understand what pre-selection is, you know, picture yourself as, you know, a woman. I mean, you're smaller, you know, weaker, more vulnerable. And you're out to a place, you know, everybody's a threat. Every guy's a threat, right? That's not, you know, cause you don't know every guy's a threat because you're smaller and weaker.
Right.
So you have to be on guard, right? Now, if you're walking along, you see 2 or 3 guys talking to each other everywhere, right? I don't know where the fuck these guys are. Fucking, they could be weirdos, right? But then you get across to the other side and you see this guy sitting down by himself. He's got 5 women talking to him and they're laughing and joking and everything. Well, as a woman, you're thinking, well, that guy must not be a creep because otherwise the other women fucking wouldn't be there. So once you have a woman,
that's like you and TJ, bro.
Yeah, that's
corner, bro. It doesn't make no sense.
It's a process. It's a process. Like I say, we you know, there's a lot to what I do, and you know, I haven't really put everything out there yet of who I am and what I do and stuff like that. But yeah, I do all right with the women. You know, I got my ways, you know what I mean? And
your little gal pal that comes over every fucking weekend. I still don't understand that shit. That appalls the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's fucking great. But yeah, that's the deal. It's pre-selection. You know what I mean? Can you understand that, you know, if you're weaker and, you know, just imagine you were who you are, but every other man in the fucking goddamn world is like 7 feet tall and 400 pounds and buff as fuck. Everybody. Okay, you feel like I'm not going to step out of line. I got to be a little cautious about what the fuck I do, you know, and I don't know who these guys, you know. That's kind of how women feel, you know, to a point. Well, then you have taken the factor of, are they creeps or are they just average dude? Well, you don't fucking know. You don't want to talk to them. Women don't come up and talk to men that they don't already know aren't creeps. Right? So they're not going to go up and talk to them and find out, but they'll just pass on by. Now, if there's a guy talking to other women, well, the women are already, quote, pre-selected the guy that he's not a fucking creep. Otherwise they wouldn't be there. So that woman will approach the other women and start talking to that man versus any of the others, because it's already proven that he's not a creep. He's already went by step 1.
Right.
You know, so he's already superseded that. So that's why women do that shit. When you get a woman, they're like, oh shit, well he you know, he must not be that bad. I mean, he's not a fucking weirdo, otherwise she wouldn't be with him. And again, women want what they can't have. I mean, it's the truth.
It's just like men. Men want what they can't have too.
Yeah, no.
I can guarantee you that, bro.
We don't really want what we can't have. We just want to prove that we can have it.
Right. That
we don't give a fuck after that.
We just want to prove that we can get it. Yeah.
Exactly. Once we got it, we're like, all right, we done. You know, next. Give me the old slap on the ass. Next. Try that with your girlfriends. Get all done. Right as you're done, you just slap around. Next. Oh, yeah.
Let's see how long your ass is sleeping in the bed. Yeah.
You're damn right. Well, you know, if you're the right person, it's like, you know, they give you that kind of stuff. Hey, you can't sleep, man. You're sleeping on the couch. I ain't sleeping on the couch, but I'm going over to Kathy's house. I'll call you in a week.
Well, anyway.
All right. But we had a hell of a conversation. This went on forever. And, but I really wanted to thank you for everything that, like say, honest, he bared his fucking soul. I mean, and a lot of the stuff we talk about is very powerful. I mean, we're dudes. This is about all the emotion you get right here. We're dudes. This is right. This is it. All right. This is so. Yeah, you'll understand. And
something that people don't know is like, yeah, this is what you get to the face. But there's a lot of dudes that on their own, when there's nobody looking, like they have mental breakdowns. And for a dude, if you witness a dude having a mental breakdown, like it's a different feeling. Like you genuinely feel their pain, because it's like he says, you don't see dudes very often have those mental breakdowns, you know. But I've had quite a few since this situation, and most of them I've been on my own because I didn't want somebody to see that shit. It's not easy, dude. It's really not.
No, and it's that's just another point of that we'll cover it. Some podcasts will cover it all, but don't ever cry in front of your woman ever. I don't give a fuck what she says. The moment you do, she's going to lose respect for you instantly. It just doesn't work. I mean, unless it's a death of a family, like a mother, father.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, they can understand that. But anything else, they'll fucking lose respect for you. They'll leave you. I'll guarantee you that if they don't leave you, then that's the beginning of the fucking end. I'll fucking guarantee it. Don't ever cry or be extremely emotional in front of a woman ever. It does not fucking work. It will never fucking work. I mean, okay, it might work with like 2% of women. Do you want to take that fucking chance? No, nobody's going to take that fucking, just don't fucking do it. You know, if you got a fucking, you got shit going on, you got fucking, everybody's got one fucking friend. And if you don't, you need to get a fucking dude, you know, a friend. Mm-hmm. Go to him and fucking, you know, grab a beer and fucking cry to him for fucking an hour until he sells you the fucking, here, fucking drink another beer and shut the fuck up, man up. And then you got it all out. Okay, he didn't really give a fuck, but he was there to listen. Right. You're going to figure your problem out anyway. So that's where it is. You don't ever fucking cry in front of your woman, ever. Right. Ever. But I did want to get into, since, man, we run a long time, but I did want to get into, you are DJing. And so I want to talk about that. You give you a plug and make sure everybody knows, and we'll put it in the description too.
It's DJing, photography, and entertainment. We do all different kinds of events, you know. So if you guys are interested, you know, you just gotta, we have a Facebook page right now. I don't have any cards on me, all our cards. We're in the middle of a moving process. Me and my partners are moving on to T there. So, business cards and stuff are packed up, but I do have the Facebook, you know, here. It's called Wildest Dreams Photography and Entertainment. So you just search that up, and I'll send Trent here the link so he can put it down in the description there below. But yeah, you just search that up and go ahead and follow that, you know. And if you have any you know, any questions or anything like that, you just go ahead and send us a message or whatever, and I'll talk to my partners or whatever, and we'll get stuff figured out.
You guys can like, whether it's class pictures, you know, senior pictures, weddings, we you know, family events, you know, things like that. Yep, everything. We can do all that kind of stuff. We even have a portable photo booth. Just it blows up, and you know, you got the backdrop, and we can change colors and all kind of stuff like that. So, and then I'm assuming, you know, like DJ and stuff, you can set up for a party, and
yeah, we can set up for a party. We can do we can just play music if you want, you know, have a set playlist, thumb drive, whatever it may be, or we can do karaoke or a little bit of both, whatever it may be. You know, a lot of people like the karaoke part of it, you know, because this just gets more people involved, and you know, it's a lot more fun and stuff like that. But yeah, we, you know, and we're working on some other stuff too, so you know, it's good, and it's, you know, a lot to come. And we're gonna be running a side business with our basically CEO, and his is we're soon going to be getting a food truck up and running with that. So
sweet. And then you guys got, you know, like, especially with everybody moving, plus it's summer now, you guys are going to start getting busy.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, definitely, you know, call in reserve, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Putting down a,
I can guarantee you guys we got the best prices compared to other places, and we bring the fun, we bring the vibes, and never once have we gotten a complaint about the way that we run the show. Everybody loves us, so
that'd be great. And the guy's got to understand that he's a really, obviously he's a really good dude. You can see that that things mean a lot to him. I mean, he's got a lot going on. Plus, the dude's hilarious. I mean, obviously, we had a very serious discussion about a lot of things, but the dude's. If you gotta talk to him when he's just out loose, man. He's the dude busts me up. I just can't. I mean, every time I see him, I just want to be around the dude. I'm like, you gotta come here, man. I'm like this, just to hang, because you just bust me up. It just the mood just changes. Just the way. There's very few people in life like that. So
right.
And
I've been told by a lot of people that's just I bring that kind of vibe, and me and the other two partners I'm with, they're basically exact same kind of vibe. I mean, you've met them before, so
yeah.
I mean, people just want to be around us when we're around. So
and then the thing is don't like I say, I hate that you ever had thoughts like that, and I want to do a whole show just on the effects of male self-deletion and things like that because the numbers are ridiculously high, and the effects that, not saying we're blaming women, but it's our fault, but because we're the ones that choose to do it. But
right, but there is
they have a factor. They don't have to destroy us the way they do, but women
do play a pretty decent factor in that. And
honestly, I don't think they see it. I don't think they mean to.
Right, and I don't think, and it's not like you said, it's not necessarily on purpose, and it's not necessarily 100% just because of them, but they definitely add a factor into that whole situation. Like, it's a pretty big factor.
I don't think that they understand, because we obviously we love different. I mean, the way we love different is real simple. A woman can get married, or get together with a guy that is, let's say he's making $100,000 a year. He's got a business and life is good. And he's got everything under control and blah, 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 blah. Right. And let's say you get together, with a woman but she got nothing, which, fine, whatever, but you're doing well. You don't give a fuck, even if she was doing well and she lost her, you don't give a fuck. If she went broke, you don't care. Right. But now if that man went broke, that chick's leaving. Right. So they love what we have and what we can provide. We love for real, just for the person. So that's the absolute bare breakdown of it. And that's why it devastates us, because we actually do love the person. We don't love what they have to provide. I mean, don't get me wrong, we love pussy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right. But so definitely I'll put it in the description. We'll probably plug it a couple times on the next few videos just to make sure. We'll put it in. We'll put his social media contacts so you guys can get in touch with him. Get on his Instagram and follow him. At least
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever.
Get on there and bug him or whatever, and send him a dick pic. He likes
this
that kind
guy.
Of stuff. We heard the whole locker room thing, man. What do you want me to do? Just what the fuck? But so we're gonna get out of here. Hopefully it was very informative. Hopefully you're really listening to this. I'll put the whole thing out, but I'm probably gonna break it down into a couple different segments for clips, and that way we get the message out repeatedly here. But till next time, you guys stay cool. If you don't like what I said, man, go fuck yourself. And Geoff, we're gonna have to drink some beer, but not Bud Light because we're not gay.
Yeah. But anyway, if you have any more podcasts you want me to join in on or whatever it may be, just let me know. Shoot me a text, man.
We gotta do this serious, dude. We gotta do this one lit sometime.
Yeah.
So I can just go out and get tore the fuck up. You know, just come down and freaking just be lit and see how fast I can get kicked off of shit. But we'll definitely, I'll definitely have you back down, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about and a lot of different ways to do things. But everybody, thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. God damn it. Freaking get everything fucking built for we can get this message out to more people. I mean, look, Geoff's a wonderful guy. And, you know, what, you're not supposed to be looking, right? So, but all right. You guys be cool. I'm out.